By the way, if you hear thunder in the background, it's getting ready to storm. I apologize. But
man over here with Encanto. Thunder.
Thunder. You telling the story or am I, Stone? I'm sorry, my Fus still on.
This just in. Red Arrow spotted at Lake Erie. Breaking news. Sudden storms over Mount Coronet. In an astonishing turn of events, Champion Cynthia defeated. New champion takes the throne. It's always sunny at Sunyshore Station.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Sunyshore Station, your choice for Pokemon podcasting. I'm your host Fus Dab, and I'm joined by the loveliest of co-hosts, Mr. Lonely Hermit. Say hello to the people.
Hello to the people.
That's your usual little intro. We love it. We're consistent over here. It's great. We love it. We're not just alone today, though, Lonely Hermit. We are joined by the legendary, the one, the only, Stone Family 64, also known as Matty Ice. How you doing, my dude?
I'm doing well. I just woke up 15 minutes ago, so I might get more energized as we go through the interview or whatever you want to call it.
Oh, man. Hey, honesty, breaking the fourth wall over here, you know? The content waits for no man. Well, yeah, we're very excited, though. If you don't know who Stone Family 64 is, please make sure you go and check out his YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. And I think that's about it, right? Or do you have anything else? Twitter as well. He'll have a chance to plug all that at the very end, but please go and show some love. Awesome. Actual goals, content creator, family man, super awesome. I couldn't speak any more highly of him if I tried, so go and check him out. Let's get into it. You guys ready for the interview today?
Let's do it.
Yes, sir.
Oh boy, I am so ready. Okay, I'm gonna do it right the first time and not accidentally reveal my questions again. Okay, cool, I did it right the first time. I'm gonna spin the wheel, guys, and whatever it lands on, we are going to ask that question. Let's see. What is it gonna be? What's it gonna be today? Okay, let's see what this one is. We have number 9 as our question.
Oh.
Number 9, favorite post game.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a good question. Okay, so Stone, would you like to take off this interview by answering the question, what is your favorite post game content from a Pokemon game?
There's only one answer. I'm sorry to everyone else out there, including you two, that pick anything else. But if you say anything other than ORAS, you are mistaken.
I was fully expecting you to say Kanto, but I'm very happy you said that.
I was expecting you to say something other than that too. But yeah, I agree. Go ahead.
Yeah, Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire. I mean, just everything about the post game, up and including just shiny hunting and everything like that you can do post game. You know, it adds Pokemon in there to the what is that method called where you sneak up?
The Dex Nav, yeah.
Oh, it adds Pokemon to that, so you expand a little bit on what you can and can't catch, you know, and then the story with Rayquaza and Deoxys. Oh my god, the first time I played that, bro, I got chills.
Yeah.
The Delta episode was top tier, dude. Top tier.
It's amazing.
Absolutely.
And then to have the, you go back and you try to battle the Elite Four, and freaking Steven's Pokemon is like super strong.
Oh, if I remember correctly, all the Elite Four members get Mega Evolutions, don't they?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, they do. Every single one of them. Salamence, Glalie, Shuppet, and frick, I can't remember the first guys.
Probably Houndoom, maybe?
Houndoom?
Maybe,
no?
Yeah.
Yes.
That would make sense because he's a dark type trainer.
Yeah. But oh my god, I totally agree with what you're saying though. Good lord. Like when you think about remake games, you're like, oh, okay, cool. Fire Red, Leaf Green, awesome. Heart Gold, Soul Silver, awesome. But then when you think of like ORAS, you're like, this is like proof there is a god on this earth. He is good.
Yeah, I think as much as I love Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and I think the Pokemon following you and all that was really good for that game. I think the post game and just everything about Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire is what we wanted from a Pokemon game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
But that also, I think for some people, and I'll speak for me in particular, Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald were my favorite games growing up. I played Red and Blue. I was an original 151 kid. But when Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald came out, I put more hours into that than I did Red, Blue, Yellow, Gold, Silver, Crystal. It didn't matter,
Yeah.
So Gen 3 was always my favorite, and then just putting the post game on it with updated graphics, it was just like, oh my gosh. And then you get to go through the whole region again for story purposes instead of just like, oh, I'm just walking around just for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I also interject that one of the coolest parts about Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire's Delta episode was that, tell me if you did this too. When I was a kid, like when YouTube was really, really new and like it was really hard to fact check things on the internet, there was this video that said if you completed this amount of things in like a sequence, it was like a fake little like ROM hack or whatever, but it was like a fake tutorial on how to get the Moss Deep space shuttle or rocket to take you to fight Deoxys.
Yes.
Oh,
I thought for sure that if I restarted my game and I did this, it had to get like 150 Premier balls or something like that. You had to go and do this, blah blah. It was such a stupid like wild goose chase, and then you had to use strength on like the rocket or something like that. It was so stupid, but it fulfilled my childhood dream of wanting to go to space in Pokemon. You know what I mean? It was so freaking cool.
There's also something, and you mentioning strength reminded me of it. The white rock out in front.
Yeah.
You were supposed to do something with that.
I think it was Rock Smash on it or something like that.
Yeah, I can't really remember exactly, but you were supposed to do something with the white rock out in front of the spaceship. And it was supposed to help you get to Deoxys.
It, like unlock the fuel or something.
Yeah.
And the rock was never implemented in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire Delta episode, but still I remember very clearly like the silly stuff that they said you had to do to be able to go in Emerald and those games,
I still feel like that space journey was like a love letter to the fans because I don't know if you guys ever saw or kept up with the new Battlefield games. Do you guys remember the new trailer for one of those games where it had the dude jumping out of the airplane and like shooting an RPG at this one other thing and then like landing back in his airplane? It was like a maneuver that went like viral, and then they had the dude reacting to it as part of the commercial. Because like the dude who did the maneuver went viral, and then they incorporated his maneuver into like an advertisement campaign. It might not be Battlefield. It might be something else. Pretty sure it's Battlefield. By the way, if you hear thunder in the background, it's getting ready to storm. I apologize. But
man over here with Encanto. Thunder.
Thunder. You telling the story or am I, Stone? I'm sorry, my Fus, go on. But no, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like a love letter to the fans. They like basically took this like decades of, or not decades, it felt like decades, like years of like, I don't know, being led astray, and how many people fell for it. Or there was also one, if you remember, there was like a sequence of things you could get to like make a warp happen to Naval Rock.
Yep.
It had something to do with the White Rock as well, because you had to use that rock to get to Naval Rock. God, it was or there was some kind of like backdoor.
Yeah, it was all about the White Rock.
It was you remember the back door inside of that house in Sutopolis, I think it is?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes!
It had something about that.
Yeah.
You remember that? Because that would move out of the way and you can go through that door. I think that's what it was. And it had fuel for like, they had fuel for like the rockets or something like that. And then we're like, what's going on?
But truth be told, and it's kind of shifting a little bit, but it goes back to the Mew thing though. You know, being under the truck. Yep. You know, back then everything we heard like on the playground, you'd go to school and everybody's like, bro, I heard you can get Mew under the truck, and you're like, what? You're on the edge of your seat all day at school, 7, 8 years old, and you're like, I gotta get home, I gotta get Mew, I gotta go under the truck. And then you get home and you're like, it's not working.
Honestly, I think that moments like that is what made Pokemon honestly truly so enticing for us, and that's why we're so nostalgic to it. I remember also the Mew under the truck around that same time. It was around the time Gold, Silver, and Crystal were getting basically like leaked information, and we saw Meryl for the first time, but we thought it was an evolution of Pikachu, and people were calling it Pika-Blue. Remember that? Do you remember the legend of Pika-Blue? Oh my god. Did y'all grow up like talking about that stuff on the playground like I did?
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely insane. I can't get over the fact that culture like basically led towards these crazy like Goose Chase YouTube videos that are infamous now. They got hundreds of millions of views because they're like the oldest part of the internet now. But like there's still some like 6-year-old out there who probably still believes that that's possible. But I love how that's like a love letter to the fans by letting them go to space in the Delta episode. Long-winded tangent aside, that's such a cool thing for me, I don't know.
I bet I can convince my kids to play Pokemon Yellow.
Yeah.
And to try to move that truck.
You probably could.
Make them go through what we went through.
Right? That, or it's kind of like have you seen that like Reddit post where it says I'm gonna have my kids grow up reading the Harry Potter books, and I'm gonna tell them this is like history. This is true. These are historical books. There are certain spots where wizards are in hiding and whatnot. By the time they are 11, they're going to receive their Hogwarts letter. And then they're going to plan a trip to go to King's Cross in London. And they're going to say, there's platform 9 and 10. You know what to do. The long-winded setup. Just like you setting up your kids to say, oh, hey, Mew's under that truck. Go find it.
That'd be funny, but that's mean at the same time.
It's hilarious, but it's so wrong. It's kind of like whenever I have my laser pointer and I'm like, doing the laser pointer around the living room floor, and my cats accidentally fling themselves against the wall or the window or something like that.
That's great, though. They always bounce back.
They always do. They got 9 lives for a reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to the Delta episode thing. We keep getting off on tangents, and I think it's great still. It's cool that Pokemon has this effect on us. It like triggers these memories.
Yeah.
But what other things other than the Delta episode did you enjoy in Oris, do you think, Matt?
Well, hunting down the Megastones and all that was pretty fun in Oris as well. Mm-hmm. And I think Gen 6, in my opinion anyways, has the best shiny hunting methods with the radar or the DexNav, whatever, and the SOS method, or not the SOS, the Horde method.
Yeah.
I love Horde hunting. And actually that's my longest hunt ever, on screen or off screen right now. I found it took me 1,899 hordes to find a shiny Minun.
Oh wow.
Dang.
And I found 3 Magnemite in that same time span. So it was pretty fun, and I did that post game, so being able to do that and having fun, everything, just the game's beautiful. The shiny hunting is amazing in ORS because there's the fishing, the hunt, or the horde hunting, the DexNav. You could technically Masuda method in that one. So there are 4 different methods in one game that are all great odds. That's not bad in my opinion.
Nah.
And also the soaring to the different spots to get the legendaries of the Hoopa rings.
Yep.
Oh, with Latios and Latios, you flying on their back. Oh my gosh,
that was
so
such a
good.
cool part of the game. That was not necessarily post game, but that really made that game like so much cooler to me.
Yeah.
Most people did do it post game.
It was close enough to
That's
the
true.
post game because you get it before right before the gym.
That's true. That's true. And also most of the like legendary hunting mechanics happened through that, so you can get to the Hoopa rings and do the resets from there.
I remember the first time I didn't look this stuff up like that. So I remember the first time I accidentally came across one of those islands, and it's like a ring, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting here like looking at it, like, what is this? And then a legendary pops up, and I'm like, what?
The sheer shock that happens.
Yeah, well, I actually skipped Generation 5 and 6. So when I came back into Pokemon, it was through Gen 7. So everyone's talking about the other games that came out before Gen 7, and I'm sitting here like, okay, well, I've heard of them, but I've never played them, so I got to go back and play them. So I played them spoiler-free. I never watched anyone play them beforehand. So all of my reactions, I wish I could have like been recording them at the time because they were genuine reactions, even though they were like 4 years late.
And it's like you're rediscovering it for the first time too, because Pokemon has
yeah.
that way of just making things seem new, even though that they're like not necessarily new. They're not shaking up the formula that much.
Yeah.
Well, not only was it rediscovery for me, but it was discovery for my kids as well because they were just getting into Pokemon.
Yeah.
And I was just getting back into it, so we were like, it was a together thing with my kids, which makes it 10 times better, you know?
Yeah. It's one of those like family bonding things that like literally you can't trade anything for.
And then my kids would sit there for hours watching me shiny hunt, like basically like I was the content creator at the time. You know, they'd just sit beside me and watch me. Or they'd step away as if they were stepping out of stream for a second, and then they'd come back and they'd be like, "Oh, you still haven't got it," you know, kind of like our viewers do.
Yeah, this is the origins of the Stone fam, y'all. So this is awesome.
Actually, the origins did start with the shiny. If it wasn't for a shiny, I would not be here with y'all. I accidentally came across a random shiny Trapinch in Pokemon Emerald, so
nice.
Hence why Emerald's one of my favorite games.
Outside of Slateport City, you know that little like patch of grass right before you get to the trick house?
Yeah.
I was playing a Nuzlocke on the second cartridge that I found on the ground of like a Walmart or whatever, and I ran into a shiny mine in there. And back then I didn't know what shinies were, so I caught it because it sparkled. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then later I realized, oh wait, this is extremely rare.
Well, actually, the funny part for my first shiny is I didn't get mine until I was 27.
Really?
And I'm 30. Yeah, I'm 31 now. So you got to imagine that was only 4 years ago. Going on 5 years now.
Like your first full odds shiny, or like your first hunt shiny? Which one?
No, my first full odds random shiny.
Wow.
So everyone's likes to throw it in my face. Well, there's the red Gyarados. Okay, I thought that was a special event thing.
That's
right?
not a legitimate, like everyone gets that, you know?
Well, no, but what I mean is I didn't realize it was explaining to us as a kid. I didn't realize. Okay, this is telling us that alternate colored Pokemon exist for all Pokemon. So as a kid, I was like, it's just the Gyarados. Yeah. And then I quit playing after Gen 4, so it's not like I was talking to the NPCs that started talking about shinies.
Yeah.
And then I find the shiny Trapinch at 26 or 27 years old. And I start looking up, okay, different colored Pokemon, and then the word shiny pops up. So I get on YouTube, I type in shiny Pokemon, and it's just page after page after page. And I'm sitting here like, okay, this is a thing?
That's so cool.
And then all of a sudden I get back into Pokemon because of a random shiny Trapinch, which leads me down the rabbit hole of YouTube, which leads me to content creating.
That's such a cool like rabbit hole to jump down.
Yeah, and I did it all with my kids.
That is so freaking cool. I love that. I love every second of that story. Like awesome. I connect with that too, because I'm like, when I first got my first shiny, like I was just like you. I thought the Gyarados was like a one and done thing because it said they forced it to evolve. I was like, okay, you know what I mean? I thought I was like, okay, so Team Rocket made this. It's evil. You know what I mean? Like as a kid, I thought this was like an isolated event. But when I got that Minun, I was like, okay, this is kind of similar to when that Gyarados did the Sparkle. I said, is this a Team Rocket Pokemon? I thought it was evil. You know?
Yeah.
We gotta know your first shiny now, Hermit.
Oh, it's shiny Rattata in Fire Red.
Shiny Rattata.
Yeah.
Every time I restart Crystal now, and it never fails, okay? I have restarted Crystal 3 times on my 3DS, and every time I go into Mount Mortar, I get a shiny Rattata.
Really?
Every single time. I have restarted it 3 times. I have 3 shiny Rattata from Mount Mortar.
That's a top
funny.
percentage of Rattata, dude. I just have to say I really do like your point about post game, or as post game being like a pinnacle of post game. Hermit, do you have anything to add, or would you disagree with him? Do you think there's a better post game out there?
For the sake of being different and not saying the same answer, I'll pick something else. But I'd probably put Delta episode as either number 1 or number 2. Couple honorable mentions for me. X and Y had the Looker mission, which I thought was pretty fun. You kind of go around with him. You do that whole thing with Looker. That one's pretty fun. What was the other one I was thinking of?
Wait, hang on. What is that?
So in X and Y, there's at the post game. Looker has a mission that he does. I can't remember exactly what it is. It's like a post game like quest that you can do with him. I can't remember what the purpose of it was, I'm gonna be honest. I just remember it being like pretty cool. You kind of go around like Lumio City and stuff like that, and then it's just like a fun little thing to do in the post game.
I know he had one in Sun and Moon.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that.
I didn't know he had one in X and Y.
Yeah, I don't even remember how you trigger it, to be honest, but
I'm gonna get my kids to give me my game back.
I think I have to agree with you, Hermit. That was a redeeming quality of X and Y. I would also say this is another can of beans though, is that Oris saved Generation 6. I felt like they were just subpar games, X and Y, and then Oris came by and just perfected it. And we were expecting Z, but like I said, can of beans. We'll get into that later.
Yeah, that's a conversation all on itself.
I'll say, Hermit, your point about the post game does redeem it for me, though.
Yeah, so that's definitely an honorable mention for me. And then Matt brought it up. The other honorable mention was going to be Ultra Sun and Moon, because it is pretty fun when you go run around and you're chasing all the ultra beasts, and you're catching all the tabus and all that stuff. And I did also enjoy the Ultra Wormhole. That was also fun. But most specifically, the Rainbow Rocket stuff was pretty freaking cool. So
absolutely,
I really, above everything else, like chasing Ultra Beast was fun with Looker, like doing that stuff was fun. But Rainbow Rocket above all else was like the best part of that post game.
Yeah, Rainbow Rocket was like just for us anyways, being the older generation of Pokemon fans, would be nostalgic run down memory lane without having to play the whole game over again.
Yeah.
It
has the same thing that I really liked about Oras. Like when you run into the legendaries, you hear their original theme start to play. And although they remixed it in Ultra Sun and Moon, you start to hear like their themes play again. And I really enjoy when they bring back music a lot. So that was really cool. Yeah. And then obviously sing. But what I love most about Rainbow Rocket was that it was like every boss was like the worst versions of themselves. Like every single version of them was the version if they won. Like these are the guys that won. They got what they wanted, and it's just like I thought that was really cool. So I probably put Ultra Sun and Moon like my third. I'd probably put Delta episode I think second, maybe first. But definitely the other one that I'll go ahead and use as my answer specifically is probably Black and White 2's post game, because of all the things you can do. There's just a lot of stuff to do in the post game in there. The Pokemon World Tournament, all the tournaments get unlocked, so you get to face a bunch of the older gym leaders and champions and stuff like that. You get to go around the whole region and catch a ton of legendaries. Like there are so many legendaries to go catch in that game. It is actually pretty wild. You can rematch the Elite Four, and they're actually pretty tough. I'm one of the very, very few people in the world who liked Pokestar Studios, so I had a lot of fun doing all those movies.
I'm with you on that, by the way.
Oh yes, cool. And then there's the medals too, which I don't know how many people like got into that, But I did enjoy, having objectives, I guess, in Pokemon, and like having all these medals that you can, try and figure out what the hints mean and stuff. I would always do stuff like that. So yeah, Black and White 2, there's just so much to do. Like, it's not even that there's anything in particular that's like really good, like Rainbow Rocket, but it's just there's so much content that it's fun because you can literally just go all around the region. Not to mention like the battle tree and stuff like that. That stuff's really fun to do as well. But I don't know. It's tough for me to try and put one above the other because my top 3 for sure are Ultra Sun and Moon, Black and White 2, and Oras, and they're kind of interchangeable. Like if you ask me tomorrow, my answer will probably change as to which one's my favorite. But right now, for the sake of this conversation, I'm gonna go with Black and White 2.
With Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon, did you prefer finding the Ultra Beasts through the wormholes in Ultra, or did you prefer hunting them down with Looker's missions and the base Sun and Moon games?
I don't like anything about the base Sun and Moon games.
Wow.
I liked Looker's mission. I did like that.
I like Looker's mission a little bit better than I did the Ultra Wormhole for the Ultra Beast, but it makes sense, going through the wormhole to get them.
Yeah.
But I like for me, it's like, okay, I've saved the world by stopping these beasts from getting here.
I will say I did really like the areas in the wormholes that they were in. I thought they were pretty cool. I thought a lot of them, they were very unique and different, and I really liked
Ghost Lords was the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were pretty cool.
I just personally don't like the base Sun and Moon games because Ultra Sun and Moon were like the polished version of them, and they should have been the base games. You know what I mean?
Or they shouldn't have released 2.
Exactly. They should have just had the Ultra Sun and Moon should have been Sun and Moon. And if they wanted to expand on it, make it different, they could have had something else, like a Sun and Moon 2 or something like that.
Eclipse.
Or make Ultra Sun and Moon or Eclipse. Yeah, they could have made anything else, but I don't know. That's another can of beans.
Yeah.
But to answer your question though, Stone, I say that it's definitely the wormholes for me because I don't go back to Sun and Moon for, even though the Looker missions are cool, I don't go back to it for any reason. And I don't know, it's just because Ultra Sun and Moon just kind of ruined it for me, But that's another can of beans.
Yeah, to be fair though, I don't. If I go to play Gen 7, I pick up. At least I try. I pick up the Ultra games.
Yeah, me too.
Instead of.
Yeah.
And that's even with me liking Looker's missions over the Ultra wormholes just for the Ultra Beast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So being able to find the Ultra Beast through the wormholes, like the game itself outweighs just the single mission with Looker.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would also say, bringing it back to the original question about favorite post-game, my favorite thing, other than the Rainbow Rocket, like we previously mentioned, I agree that Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire's post-game, the Delta episode, is my favorite of the post-game options. But I have to say, pure nostalgia, Emerald's Battle Frontier. I had so much fun playing that.
That was one of my honorable mentions. I forgot.
It was so cool, and the music, the trumpets doing that little fanfare at the beginning, it's ingrained in my mind. It's actually one of my ringtones on my phone. Not kidding.
I will say, back when it first came out, though, I didn't understand IV and EV.
Yeah.
And you couldn't really see. You didn't have access to see that stuff.
Yeah.
So it was just like you trained up a Pokemon or 3 Pokemon to level 100. You're like, I'm going to sweep this thing with these 3 Pokemon, and you grinded it out, not realizing, or at least I did anyways, not realizing that there was IVs and EVs and like the held items helped a specific way to do this, that, and the other.
Yeah, I didn't even know that stuff existed until Gen 6. So I started playing those games.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know until Gen 7 when I got back in it, and I was like, what is all this IV and EV stuff? Like,
even then, I only knew because of YouTube. Back when they used to do their competitive leagues and all that stuff.
I didn't know anything about that stuff, so I was never really good at it. But I have to say, I really enjoyed going into the battle pyramid and the battle pike because of the music, and I really liked the lore of it. And I would just sit there listening to the music. I would go around running around, and I don't know. When I was a kid, I would like fantasize about actually living there and stuff like that. So it was just one of those like special parts of my childhood. I had that special edition Emerald that came with the Game Boy Advance SP like clamp case. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It was like it had the carrying case, and it could go on your belt loop. And I was like, I always had Pokemon Emerald with me. It was one of those things I never left home without. It's super funny. But I like fantasized about just being in the Battle Frontier. I was like, okay, I am the trainer. You know, this is my frontier. You know?
Yeah. I think I always chose the battle. I think it's called the Battle Dome, the one with the tournament.
Yeah.
That's the one I always did because I love tournament style format, especially in Pokemon. That's why I loved Sword and Shield, like Elite Four, I guess equivalent. But that was always fun to me. I would always most of the time I would rent. I think you could rent Pokemon. I can't remember exactly. Either that or I'd end up training Pokemon specifically for
it was the factory.
Oh, that's right. The factory's where you
rented. Factory's where you rented. But those were both really cool options.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When I was a kid, I didn't really appreciate the whole tournament thing because I didn't understand how it worked. And then also the factory, I was like, I want to use my own Pokemon because, like Matt said, I raised these Pokemon to level 100. I'm gonna sweep everything with it, and then I just kept getting destroyed.
Yes.
Oh me.
But eventually I don't know about y'all because there's the silver ones, if I'm not mistaken, and then the gold ones because you go through it twice.
Yeah.
And I could always get the silver ones, but I'm not gonna sit here and act like I was the greatest trainer ever. I could never get a gold one, so I always got the silver. I guess they were badges still. I don't know.
Yeah.
Symbols.
Yeah.
Symbols. Yeah.
I think the only one I ever did was the dome, to be honest.
But I never got the gold ones.
I got the silver and the pike, and I think I got gold in the factory later on in life when I was like, oh hey, I'm in college now, let me open up my Pokemon Emerald, see if I can actually do anything about this. That's the only one I ever did though get gold was in the factory because it was rental Pokemon and I didn't have to like actually EV or IV train. I will also say one last thing that I really liked was that you can get Smeargle in that little cave off to the side. I thought it was super cool.
Yeah.
Yes, it was a little hideaway for him, and you actually had to beat up
Sudowoodo
or / Sudowoodo.
Yeah.
to get to it.
And one last thing too is that there are wild Charizards in the battle pyramid, which is awesome.
That's right.
And there's a chance that shiny Pokemon can appear in there, so they're uncatchable shiny Pokemon in there, which is super funny to me.
I don't like uncatchable shinies.
Yeah.
Nor do I, because I ran into 2 of the Starlies and never got my Turtwig.
Oh yeah.
So still butthurt about that.
I found the shiny Starly in BDSP as well.
Yeah, it hurts. It hurts a lot. But yeah, I thought that the conversations that we had were really good, especially about the whole post-game thing. It brought up so many memories, and we didn't talk about just post-game, which is awesome. Do you guys have anything else you want to add before we close off today?
I think somebody's going to say it in the comments, somebody's going to say it, replies, whatever. I feel like gotta quickly touch on Kanto and Gold and Silver and Heart Gold, Soul Silver, because we didn't really bring it up.
None of those are good, though.
Exactly. Because they're held in such a high regard. I feel like we have to bring it up.
I like it. The fact that you can go visit Gen 1 again, it was very nostalgic, and I like the idea of it. But if they're going to actually do something like that, they need to put stuff in it.
Exactly. Like, if I want to play Kanto, I'm going to go play Fire Leaf Green or any other Kanto game if I really want to be in Kanto that bad.
Yeah, the problem with the Kanto, or the, Gen 2 going to Kanto also, is the wild Pokemon are level 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
So, how does that help my team at all,
Yep.
Can we also talk about how there were these rumors going into Sun and Moon because there was no Pokemon Z that you were going to go to Kalos again, like they did with Kanto, that. And it was such a disappointment that they didn't do that. I remember being so disappointed.
They're never going to do that again.
Oh, I hope so. I hope they do. That'd be amazing. If we can go back to another location, that'd be amazing.
The problem is I don't necessarily trust that they'll do better than what they did with Kanto. That's where I struggle,
I don't see it ever be implemented again. I honestly believe if they here's what I could see them doing, to be fair. And it goes into what they did with Sword and Shield, kind of. A DLC for a game. to send us to another region that you have to purchase.
I wouldn't be mad about that though. I enjoyed the DLC in Sword and Shield more than the actual games.
I'd be perfectly fine with it. But if they're gonna do it, it's gonna be a DLC. It will not be in the base game.
Yeah. And it'll probably only be like part of a region too.
Yeah, like you can go and visit like Vermilion City or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's like just the port. But I think that'd be really cool. Be like, okay, you can go to this new location. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, at least it's a shout out to the old games if it does that.
I'd be down to see Lumio City in updated graphics. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, but how do you get to Lumios? I guess
you
fly.
Yeah.
Flying taxi.
Yeah.
But does Lumios have a place where you can land a plane?
In the street.
Yeah.
And it's a Corviknight little taxi, so we could just get a little Corviknight taxi.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, use Corviknight.
It'd be a really cool cutscene. You're just riding a Pokemon all the way over there.
And then hearing that music like remastered for orchestra would be amazing. But yeah, I think that our conversations were amazing. I hope you guys enjoyed just as much as I did. As always, thank you so much to everyone who's been listening to this on Spotify and watching the YouTube video podcasts. Don't forget to check out my channel, Fusro Dab, as well as Lonely Hermit's channel and Stone Family 64's channel. And now, Stone, would you like to plug all of your social medias you'd like to? Any of the folks to go and follow?
Everything is Stone Family 64, so if you type that into anything, you're pretty much gonna find us. TikTok, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, and then another thing that I want to shout out is the After Hours podcast that I have with Guanaco Gaming. So if you enjoy podcasts, you're obviously here listening to this, so I think you do. Come over to ours and check out both podcasts. You know, you're gonna want to listen to both of them. They're both pretty cool. Ours is live on Saturdays at midnight, around about. So definitely come check it out. If Bruce is cool with it, I'll send him the link so it can be in the description for at least the YouTube side of this.
Absolutely. Guys, we cannot speak highly enough of Stone Family 64. I personally think he is like content creator goals. I want to have a family like him that is like invested in content creation like his is. If you want the best Pokemon content and family oriented content, go and check out his stuff. And Lonely Hermit, you agree with me, right? Absolutely. I mean, we've worked with him plenty of different things, including, by the way, we didn't even mention this. He's the commissioner of an entire battle league. He's the commissioner of an entire battle league. You know what? We'll have you back on just to talk about the EBL in a separate podcast because I enjoyed having you on for sure.
That would be fun, especially with Gen 9 around the corner.
Oh, yeah. That'd be awesome. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for listening to Sunyshore Station. We really appreciate it. Don't forget to rate the podcast as well as subscribe to all of our channels and follow our social medias. Thank you all very much. This has been Sunyshore Station. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for tuning in. This has been Sunyshore Station.